This podcast is supported by FX's English Teacher, a new comedy from executive producers of What We Do in the Shadows and Baskets. English Teacher follows Evan, a teacher in Austin, Texas, who learns if it's really possible to be your full self at your job while often finding himself at the intersection of the personal, professional, and political aspects of working at a high school. FX's English Teacher premieres September 2nd on FX. Stream on Hulu.
Making everyone happy on vacation isn't easy, but you know what is? Going to Aruba. All you have to do is walk out your door to find pristine pools, relaxing white sand beaches, and an island teeming with outdoor activities that'll put a smile on any face. You won't just feel great, you'll all feel great, filled with a calmer, more peaceful vibe that radiates Aruba's warmth. And the best part is, it never fades. That's the Aruba effect. Plan your family trip at Aruba.com.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily. 4 Ways Parents Can Balance Couple Time and Family Time by Terry Gaspard of Gottman.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to ORD. I'm Greg Audino, the guy who's here with you every day to read from and offer commentary on some of the best blogs around that cover relationship building. And today, once again, we'll be sharing from Gottman.com, which is widely known as one of the best sites for acquiring well-researched articles about relationships. They write about romance and parenting alike, and today's post actually blends the two. So let's get right to it as we optimize your life. 4 Ways Parents Can Balance Couple Time and Family Time by Terry Gaspard of Gottman.com. I continue to see a growing trend in my private practice of partners struggling to find the balance between couple time and family time. Some parents become so focused on their children that they neglect their marriage in the process. While children thrive when they receive lots of love from caregivers, parents need alone time to recharge and focus on their romantic relationship, which brought them together in the first place. According to psychologist Pat Love, quote, "Each and every day, parents experience the joy of making a child's life better, more productive, and far more meaningful, all while doing the same for themselves." End quote. Strive to balance your couple time and family time. In the book titled Fighting for Your Marriage, author Harold J. Markman, Ph.D., says the amount of fun partners have together is a key factor in predicting their overall marital happiness. Markman explains, quote, "When we interview couples planning marriage, we learn that most of them have tons of fun early in the relationship, but for too many, fun fizzles out as time goes by." End quote. Sydney and Kevin, both in their late 30s, are raising 2 sons aged 10 and 12. They were on the brink of divorce because they had drifted apart. Both work full-time, are drained by the demands of parenting, and had fallen into the trap of neglecting their relationship. Kevin reflects, "Sydney wants to spend most of her evenings and weekends as a family, but I don't get home from work until 8 p.m. most nights. By the time Friday night rolls around, I just want to go out to dinner with Sid. I see it as a priority to play with the boys on weekends, but I need time to recover from work, and I want to spend more quality time with her." Sydney responds, "I didn't realize you felt that way. I feel really torn. I don't want to leave the kids with a babysitter on Friday nights, because they're in school and after-school care all week." During couples therapy, Sydney and Kevin started questioning their priorities and how they spend their time outside of work. Fortunately, they are dedicated to each other and determined to create couple time so they can avoid seeing their marriage crumble. They decided to rotate every other Friday between a dinner date night out and a pizza and movie night in with the kids. This plan allowed all family members to get their needs met. Dr. John Gottman's research shows that accepting your partner's influence means considering their needs without placing blame or making judgments. After our second session, Sydney was able to accept Kevin's influence and realized that having time alone with him every other Friday night could benefit the entire family. Sydney noticed that she was actually feeling closer to Kevin, and that her sons enjoyed having a babysitter when their parents went out. Here are 5 ways to balance your time as a couple and time as a family. Number 1. Schedule alone time with your partner. Couples who schedule alone time together are able to turn toward each other more often because there are fewer distractions. Dr. John Gottman discovered that couples who divorced an average of 6 years after their wedding turned toward each other 33% of the time in his lab, while the couples who were together after 6 years turned toward each other 86% of the time. That's a big difference. Number 2, build your connection in small moments. As Sydney began spending more time with Kevin, I suggested that they practice expressing more interest in each other. Therapist Bob Navarra suggests couples ask questions about their day-to-day life in order to learn more about each other's world. Over time, this led to deeper levels of connection between Sydney and Kevin and strengthened their marriage. Number 3, spend quality time together as a family. Be sure to plan special events and some vacation time with all family members when possible on a regular basis so everyone feels nurtured. Ask your children what spending quality time as a family means to them. You may be surprised by their answers. And number 4, let your kids know that you value your role as a partner and parent. By doing this, you serve as a positive role model for healthy family relationships, and you show your children your partnership is sacred. When I met with Sydney and Kevin 6 months after our first session for a follow-up, they were going strong and embraced the notion that Kevin's bid for attention, affection, and support saved them from dissolving their marriage. Fortunately, Sydney was wise enough to pay attention. You don't have to choose between being a good parent and a good partner. Working together to find the right balance will pay off in the long run for you, your marriage, and your family. You just listened to the post titled, 4 Ways Parents Can Balance Couple Time and Family Time by Terry Gaspard of Gottman.com. And I'll be back right after this with my commentary. Okay, and thank you so much to Terry for this post. A relevant and applicable one for all parents, at least at some point, I'm sure. And the best part of it, I think, came at the end in her 4th bullet, letting your kids know that you value your role as partner and parent. And we do this through both words and actions. Oftentimes when we think about the impact we leave on our kids, we tend to focus on the time we spend with them and the lessons we try to teach them. But modeling is such a big part of it too. Every action we take is observed by our children, and they rely on these observations to shape their view of the world and thus what kind of adults they grow into. So even if we are spending a lot of time with them and telling them the right things, if we're doing all of this but not spending meaningful time with our partners, they're subconsciously taking mental notes that romantic relationships might not need that same prioritization. So today, I challenge you to think about how you're educating your children with everything you do and say, and what alterations you might want to make with this in mind. But with that, we have reached the end for today, everybody. As always, I thank you for being here and making another episode possible. Have a great Friday, and I'll see you again over the weekend, where your optimal life awaits.